Hey everyone, welcome to Module 1 of SMEDB 321. The course is Immunology Lecture. I am Arizaldo Castro from the Biological Sciences Department, and I will be your instructor. I will be handling two sections, MEB 32 and MEB 33. The schedules are different. For NEB 32, we're going to conduct synchronous classes at the dedicated schedule of Monday and Thursday, 8:45 to 10:15 a.m. While for MEB 33, our class schedule also falls under the same days, Monday and Thursday, but in the afternoon. So we meet at 3:45 p.m. until 5:15. So a few things. For Module 1, we are going to cover our course orientation and our course overview and some stuff, particularly the policies that we're going to employ as we um, deliver or as we deliver the instruction via the distance learning setting. So all of these things I will be discussing in a little while. So for the course, um, I think we are only two in the department who are handling all the immunology lecture classes, myself and Dr. Guyamin. So the other sections are actually under Dr. Guyamin's care. So for the subject, we are going to introduce you to the fundamental components of the immune system, particularly the immune system of animals, of mammals, of humans to be exact. And we're going to explain in this course how those components interact in order to prevent disease. Normally, our narratives will be infection caused by microbes, by bacteria, viruses, parasites, and fungi. Um, the knowledge on the mechanics of the phenomenon of immunity is actually very important in understanding how vaccines work, how they enhance body defenses. And with the current situation that we are all in, the lessons, the concepts that you will be picking up from our course will be vital for you to further understand the phenomenon of immunity of immunity in the human body, in the human model. So at the end of the course, the goal is for you to have to have a working knowledge on the intrinsic mechanism of the human body in protecting itself against pathogens, against invading pathogens that can cause disease. So, a little information about myself is the second part of the discussion. I used to teach at our university 3 years ago. So the last time I handled lecture and laboratory classes was 2017. So after I finished my master's degree. So I'm actually a graduate of our university, both for my bachelor's and my master's. And right now, I am finishing my Doctor of Philosophy in Biology. I'm specializing in microbiology, particularly in microbial ecology at the University of the Philippines in Diliman. With the experience that I have from 2014 until now, I was able to have a few institutions to be, I was able to be, I am connected and I know people from the institutions that I was able to work with. So right now I'm with the Biological Sciences Department again as a part-time faculty. But my full-time work is with the Microbial Ecology of Terrestrial and Aquatic Systems Lab at UP Diliman Institute of Biology. So I'm finishing my dissertation project as of the moment. So I'm actually a full-time graduate student there. Um, um, Aside from UP Diliman and De La Salle Das Marinas, I'm also connected with the Department of Health. I used to work for them as a health policy and health systems fellow. So I was a research fellow for 1.5 years at the Health Research Division of DOH Central Office. And also, another institution that I am associated with is the Philippine Genome Center. I trained under their bioinformatics program for 2 months, and um, I gained additional skills on computational biology. So those are actually the institutions I'm affiliated with. And in terms of my research interests, I'm a microbiologist, particularly a bacteriologist. What I'm interested mostly is how microbes are distributed and diversified in different natural and artificial environments. Uh, and in particular, I'm currently working on my dissertation project my dissertation project that explores how microbial communities, bacterial communities present in aquatic systems affect the quality of water vis-a-vis the emergence of antimicrobial resistance in these environments. Aside from microbial ecology and AMR, my research interests also include phylogenetics and systematics. So, computational microbiology is the niche that I'm trying to specialize in. And early in my career, I worked on, or my interest peaked on systems biology, especially animal models. I handled um, cell and molecular biology classes as well as developmental biology classes during my 3 year teaching at our university from 2014 to 2017. And as an advocate, my research my research portfolio also shows some outputs on health research impact. Okay, so now so much about me and the course. Now let's talk about the policies and the course requirements. For the grading, we are following the absolute grading system, and I think starting this semester we're going to have 2 terms only, the midterm and the finals. For each term, we divided the outputs into two, categorized as enabling assessments. Those assessments will comprise 60% of your grade for each term, and the summative assessments, which will comprise 40%. Later, I will discuss additional details on these two. No? So your semestral grade will be the average of your midterm and your finals grade. Okay, so now for the exam types or for the assessment types. Since this is a lecture class, we expect or please expect that majority of your outputs will be individualized. Majority of the assessments that will be graded are all individual assessments. Okay, we have 3 categories of assessments as defined by our working IRR on distance learning. The first type of assessment is formative. These assessments are ungraded and they can range from reading assignments from offline work, like reading a book chapter, reading an assigned journal article, or an online web page or wiki page. Aside from reading assignments, I may also give forum discussions as a way of engaging you about a certain topic for the module, and another type of formative assessment could be video or film screening, and essentially other types may actually fall under this, but the common denominator should be they are not graded, they are not recorded, so they are assessments that will help you understand more. Okay. The second type of assessment, the second type of assessments are enabling assessments. These are graded outputs, and they may be quizzes, short quizzes, long tests, term papers or discussion papers. And as I've mentioned a while ago, they comprise a greater chunk of your term grade. And lastly, the summative assessments are culminating assessments. They are graded, and they are summative examinations. Like you think of them as your exams, your midterm exam, your final exam. You know? So for our setup, we're going to have four summative examinations. Okay, so two summatives in the midterm and two in the finals. Okay. Now, if ever that myself and Dr. Gayamin agrees to give a group output or group type of assessment or exam, we'll be announcing that beforehand. But please expect as early as now that majority of your outputs, your assessments that will be graded will be individualized. Okay. Now for the course outline, we have divided the subject into 10 modules included in that set is this one, this first module. So for the course syllabus and orientation that we are going to have for the whole week. Module number 2 will be on the introduction to immunology. We'll discuss some historical perspectives and an orientation on the types of immunity that the animal body actually possess. Also, will be for module number 3, we'll be discussing or we'll have our lesson on cells and lymphoid tissues. Module 4 will be on the antigen antibody complex. 5 will be our lesson on B cells and T cells. Okay, and then after module 5, you're going to have your summative assessment number 2. Your summative assessment number 1 is after module number 3. So after actually the dedicated self-care time. No? Actually, you can if you have your syllabus, you'll be able to follow what I'm saying. So summative assessment 1 will be after the self-care period, the first self-care period, and the summative assessment 2 will be after module number 5. Okay. Then for the last half or the latter half of the course, module 6 will be on major histocompatibility complex and the complement proteins. Module number 7 will be the primary and the secondary immune responses. Module 8 will be different types of hypersensitivity reactions. We'll discuss the nature and mechanisms as well as the related conditions. No? Module number 9 will be our lesson on autoimmunity and other immune deficiencies. Lastly, our module 10 will be dedicated for the discussion on the application and advanced technologies that currently that are currently in place, no, or and technologies that um, relate to the study of immunology. Okay, right. So in the normal face-to-face setup, I usually ask my students to get a paper and write their class expectations. So for our setup right now, I have prepared survey links for both classes for MEB 3.2 and MEB 3.3. You can see this in under module 1. Okay, so in each of your under module 1 there is a tab identified as um, personal and class expectations, if I'm not mistaken. So you go ahead and check um, the survey questions after, I guess, after you do the diagnostic exam. Okay. All right, so for the course policies, the details of the course policies can be found in the uploaded syllabus. I will just be talking about certain highlights for each section, but please read through the details in the uploaded that are reflected in the uploaded syllabus. So for enrollment in e-class, I am the one responsible for enrolling you in the e-class, and I guess I am successful in doing that for both sections. The enrollment will be based on the list provided to us by the university registrar. So right now, I have added all students reflected on the current list. And if there's a new list that the OUR will be releasing, expect that the number of students may be increased or decreased. Okay. For our communication and feedback, we are going to conduct the classes in depending on the schedule that is reflected in the syllabus. So there will be weeks and dates where we are going to conduct synchronous classes, particularly for the discussion proper for each of the modules. And we're going to have asynchronous sessions naman if we have in mostly after the synchronous sessions we have asynchronous sessions, and those asynchronous sessions will be dedicated for enabling assessments as well as summative assessments in the self care or me time. Okay. um, since we don't have printed modules anymore, there will be no details, or there will be no applicability for offline communication. Okay, and in terms um, of uh, civility or respect, okay, so um, I encourage everyone to not use any foul, curse, or bad words during our synchronous lessons, especially during the discussion proper. So I hope that we observe proper decorum while we are conducting our synchronous sessions. For the attendance, you can read through it. The attendance to synchronous classes, as per our IRR, will not be considered mandatory. Okay, so they will not be the attendance will not be considered in the this in the um, criteria for giving a failing grade, because of course we understand how difficult the times are. So we cannot expect that all the time all of you will have strong internet connection to attend our synchronous sessions. No? So there will be times that some of you may not be able to attend, and that will not be counted. Okay, so we have a rule on committing to attend. So you must be able to um, RSVP your attendance. It's a basic showcase of ethics. So I will be the one to conduct or to schedule our online meetings, and usually or definitely I must be able to send the meeting invite 7 days before the schedule. Okay, and if you are free during that time, please make sure that you will accept the meeting invite, because again, as I've mentioned, the synchronous sessions will be dedicated for in-depth discussion. So the attendance to synchronous sessions will not be counted against you. Okay, your inability to attend due to internet issues will not be counted against you. Uh, Please bear in mind that those synchronous sessions are in-depth discussions. So I hope that you remember that detail. Okay. Also, in terms of recording our synchronous sessions, recording will be only made after I seek the approval, or after I get the approval for of the whole class. No, so I hope that uh, this will be something that well, I will be asking your permission verbally before we start the class, before we start the recording. But I hope it will not be an issue, because the recording will be for your benefit as well. Okay, the recording of the synchronous sessions um, will be used as a review, as a material for you to review. No? Let's say if you will be doing transcripts of the discussion, okay, the recordings will be very helpful in your end. Okay. Also, any objection to the recording shall actually, prevent me from recording the session. So, I don't know if there will be any, acceptable reason why any one of you will will object from the recording. But if there should be any viable reason, please let me know. So we can, I will not do any recording of the synchronous sessions if any one of you um, rejects. No? In terms of intellectual property, we have a few policies here. You can just refer to them, policies A to E in the syllabus. Um, Highlights, I guess, that I'll be mentioning will be use of illegally obtained software. That's definitely prohibited. Also, for outputs, okay, for outputs, if there will be instances that I will require you to attach photos, uh, drawings, videos, okay, so make sure that if those materials are not from you, you cite where you cite the source, okay, you credit the source. Make sure that you provide the original link or source where you got those supplementary materials that you will be including in your output. If you have original outputs, then much better, of course. There will be no issue on plagiarism. Okay. Also, inviting people that are not part of the class during synchronous sessions is, of course, unacceptable. Okay? It's not allowed. So please do not invite additional people that are not in our official class list to join our synchronous sessions. Okay? And lastly, very important, do not give your password in school book as well as in Office 365 to anyone. Okay? So your password is your key to accessing our platform, our learning management system. So if you provide it to another person, just imagine you can analogize it to have to lending your used clothes to another person. So that's not allowed. Okay. Other policies that we have, you must, in terms of attire, you must wear decent casual or smart casual attire as prescribed by the student handbook. Okay, if the case will be, I will be, if let's say for example, we have agreed to open our cameras for discussion where we can see each other. I encourage everyone to wear decent clothes. Okay, I'm not really particular with the kind of clothes that you're going to wear. Just make sure that they are decent. I'm not going to require you to like wear school uniform or you know um, additional very smart casual attire. Okay, that's not something that I care too much about. Okay, in terms of video, I will be asking you, I may be asking you to open your video for a while so I can validate your attendance. If you choose not to open your video after or during the discussion, during the discussion proper, that's on you, and I won't hold that against you. Okay. And then, in terms of our medium of instruction, we'll be using English, of course. So you can code switch, you can use Tagalog or Taglish in informal settings or in informal contexts. Like if you're going to ask me a question offline, or you're going to talk with one another during breakout sessions and stuff like that. But during our official synchronous sessions, I will be instructing in English. Okay? All right. So some personal rules and reminders that I've been following I've been following strictly since 2014 as a teaching faculty. Okay, so there are only four things. I think actually this was a growing list before. Now I'd say that there are stuff that I don't believe anymore, and there are things that remain. So these are the things that I want you to be reminded about. These are things that I follow strictly. Okay, in terms of starting the class, I start the class on time. Okay, so you follow our schedule. Make sure that you are logged in 5 to 10 minutes, or you're ready to log in 5 to 10 minutes before the class formally starts for the scheduled day. In terms of dismissing the class, I'm going to give you 15 minutes of free time, or buffer time. So we will not consume the whole 1.5 hours per session per day. So we're going to only consume 1 hour and 15 minutes. Okay. Now, in terms of class discussions, okay, um, participation is key to authentic learning, and trust me, it's something that I observe in most of my students who are actually who at the end of the semester prove to have learned a lot. Those students who were able to ask sensible questions, students who were able to uh, provide additional insights. So I encourage everyone to participate during our class discussions. I will be providing some guide questions, and reading materials relevant to our module. And before you attend our class, I'm expecting that you will be able to read those materials prior to our synchronous sessions. Okay, because those materials will help you participate effectively. Okay, and participate meaningfully in our discussions. Uh, Third, which is very important for me, is bullying. I do not, never will I, tolerate any act of bullying in my class. Okay? So, proper decorum is expected from everyone. Even though we are in a distance learning setup that I cannot really monitor what you're doing while you're listening to my lecture, I cannot monitor your um, the internal happenings in each and every one of you. Okay, I encourage everyone to show decency to your classmates, and to me as your instructor. Okay, so I will not tolerate any act of bullying. If, let's say, during my class hours, any one of you feels that someone is bullying him or her, then please let me know so we can address the issue. We can address the matter and prevent it from being aggravated. Okay? Lastly, a very important rule for me, academic dishonesty. This concern will be given special attention. Okay? Um, I don't know how we can, or right now, we're still on the testing stage of how we can really qualify, how we can qualify academic dishonesty. It's something that is evolving with the current setup that we have right now. During the face-to-face classes, of course, this is a very clear-cut activity, And as a instructor, I can identify if someone cheats or not. Okay, in face-to-face settings. So during those times, I really endorse some cases to the formation office, and the students were penalized for the wrongdoings. Right now, as I mentioned, since this is an evolving phenomenon, okay, and in the distance learning setup, we cannot really qualify it to the nitty gritty. What I would like to remind everyone is um, authentic learning is a fruitful output, a very meaningful output um, that will not only give you um, a short time or will not only give you a very short-lived fulfillment. So if you have learned genuinely by yourself, by the help of your classmates, of course, in a context where you did not cheat, okay, I'm sure that you will have that kind of realization that authentic learning, okay, without cheating, without dishonesty, is actually something to look for. So something to hope for. Okay. All right. For the consultation hours, I don't have any specified consultation hours yet, but as a rule, you can contact me anytime. It's 24/7. Okay. You can contact me via my phone, my email, or my social media. But please do not expect an immediate response, especially if you message in the middle of the night or in the early hours of the morning. Okay, I will try to get back to your messages and your queries within 24 to 48 hours, as we are following the IRR as well, that teacher-student communication must be resolved within 48 hours at the max. No? Again, you can contact me anytime because we don't know when in the middle of the night you think of something novel, or in the early hours of the morning you thought of something that you want to clarify as soon as possible. So you can shoot me a message anytime. But in terms of the response, give me 24 to 48 hours to respond. But normally I can in normal work hours, I can respond as soon as possible. Okay. So for my contact information, I am providing my work email here. So my DLSUD email. I am also providing my personal emails, right, and my work mobile number. So you can take note of this if you have like very immediate concerns that you want me to reply as soon as possible. Okay, you can contact me via my phone. Right, for the reading list, you can see the uploaded syllabus. We have carefully curated a number of ebooks where we're going to base our discussions from. And I'm not sure if all of these are available at the library, but we have provided the web links as well. So you can check on the web links and see for yourself the reference materials. You can also download them for personal use. Okay, so that ends our recorded session for course orientation or course overview. I expect that you will proceed with the next section of Module 1, which is the diagnostic assessment. Okay, again, do not worry about or do not be very conscious about it. The idea of the diagnostic test is for us to gauge your baseline information. So I highly encourage everyone to answer it as truthfully as possible. Okay, do not use any reference material. This will be for your benefit as well, so that you can gauge, what's your level or how long or how far have you come when it comes to in terms of central concepts of animal immunity. Okay, So that ends our module number one for the for the recorded session. So make sure that you will answer the diagnostic test afterwards. And for the next session, which will be on Thursday, we have provided, or we will be dedicating that for school book orientation. So you can read through the additional or the succeeding sections in module number one, which are actually reflected right now. Okay. Next week will be module number two. We'll start with module number two next week. Let me double check. Right. Yeah, module number two will be next week. Yes, yes, next week, and that will be on our introductory discussions on immunology. Okay. All right. So thank you, and um, good luck in finishing the other sections of module one.